Creating views and dashboards in ClickUp is where you really start to unlock the power that ClickUp can provide for your agency. But with ClickUp, there's endless possibilities. There's so much that we can create, so we need to know what to prioritize. Hi, it's Jeff, the productivity professor at ZenPilot, and I'm here to show you the 6 dashboards that every agency needs to create today. Let's get started. The first dashboard that you're going to need to create for your agency is a time reporting dashboard. Essentially what this is a way for you to collect all the time that's tracked across your ClickUp workspace. So for this to work, your team obviously needs to track time in the correct spots. So you want to make sure you have the correct hierarchy, you have good habits for your team as well. That way you can get consistent outputs out of this dashboard. So within this, you'll see in my time reporting dashboard, I have 3 different spaces. I have my delivery, operations, and growth spaces. What this allows me to see is where all the time has been spent. Are we focused a lot on client services in the delivery space? Are we focused a lot on sort of the HR and operational things in our business? Or are we focused a lot on growing our business within the sales and marketing departments? I'm able to see that because of the correct hierarchy that I've created and because everyone's tracking time in the right space. The beauty of ClickUp too with all these widgets is all of them are going to have individual filters and settings applied to them, so I can adjust all of these and customize every single widget on its own. And if I come here, you also note that depending on what I want to look at, do I want to see this month? Do I want to see it this year, last month, whatever it may be? However, I recommend either looking at it this month or this year. I think that'll give you some great data to look at inside of ClickUp. So that's my first widget. Now I can also go into just time tracked by client. And as a note here, I have all of that information here, but with ClickUp, you're only able to see 2 levels deep. So I can only see space in the folder. I'm not able to pull that down to see list or task. So if I want to see that information over here, I could go total time track by client. I could pull down Wegmans and I'll be able to see what lists all of that time is going towards. So it makes it super easy for me to track all the information. I'm able to see it again, month over month, year over year, or whatever you're looking at. Right here, I have it going month over month. Additionally, in this time tracking dashboard, what I'm able to see is a timesheet. So who, when, and where time was actually tracked. So I'm able to see the high level over here, navigate a little bit further into each client, and then the individual people and what tasks they actually track time against. So they come down here, you'll see we have ZenPilot and Kevin have tracked time, and as more people track time in your workspace, you'll be able to see that. As you can see here, I'm able to see which day that time was actually tracked, the total time for the week, and then if I want to, I can navigate to see the individual tasks that they track time against. So as I pull this down, we'll be able to see the actual tasks that ZenPilot tracked time against on Tuesday and Wednesday, and all that information will be populated right here. And I can click into this task right here if I want to see that as well. So that's how you can add a timesheet. Again, you can also navigate from week to week. So if I wanted to see a week in the past or a couple weeks in the past, I can navigate easily with these arrows right here. And then lastly, in this time reporting dashboard, we also, if we want to see sort of a trend over time, if we want to see last month compared to this month, or whatever you're trying to look at, I can pull up that information right here. So as you can see, last month, we just tracked time in Trader Joe's, and then this month, there's a lot more time that's tracked. So I can start to see those trends. And again, this is all just based off of the timeline that I'm setting here. So I can either do today, yesterday, and this week if I wanted to. But in this case, I'm doing last month and this month just to get a trend over time. In the second dashboard you're going to want to create inside of ClickUp is a time estimated versus actual time tracked dashboard. So this is very similar to the time reporting dashboard, but it's a little bit different because we're looking more at trends. We're looking at where time estimates were way above or way below the actual time that was tracked. In ClickUp, if you want to get a super accurate workload view, you need to make sure that you have time estimates on all your tasks. And the more accurate those time estimates are, the better you're actually going to know the overall capacity of your team. So when you build your process templates in ClickUp, this is a great way to make sure that the time estimates that you put into those process templates are as accurate as possible. So you want to look at this pretty regular, weekly, monthly, just to make sure that those time estimates that you put on all those templates are as accurate as possible. And the second dashboard we want to create is a time estimate versus actual time tracked dashboard. And this is pretty similar to the time reporting dashboard, but it's a little bit different because we were looking more at trends. So instead of looking at what's happening right now, we're looking at what's happened in the past to kind of see where is estimate and the actual time track different. Where are our time estimates way above or way below the actual time that was tracked by people in our system. So now to dive into what's actually included in this dashboard, I like to start with the highest level and work my way down into the nitty gritty details. So at first, our first widget here is really looking at sort of the spaces that we have to figure out which space or which part of our business is the difference. Where is the estimate versus actual off? So as you can see here, I only have time tracked in the delivery space, but I can see I have an estimate of 45 minutes and we've tracked an hour and 10. So why is that so? Which tasks, which client, which person did that actually take place in? So as we can see here, as I go down and further, I'm now looking at by each specific client. I can look at those folders and now I'm seeing it's Trader Joe's. So Trader Joe's, we have that 45-minute estimated time and tracked an hour and 10. And if I wanted to pull that down, I could see the specific tasks that were included in each of these. So we can see the prepare, brief, and parent task was 15 minutes of estimated time, but it took 35 minutes. So there's a bit of a difference there. I can click into this task if I want to see more information, but that'll kind of tell me which tasks is that happening in. And if I wanted to drill down into further details, now I can see which specific person is this happening, who was the one that actually tracked this time. So as you can see, Kevin here, prepare the brief and the parent task, he's estimated 15 minutes. He actually took 35 minutes to do this. And I can get in touch with him and say, hey, has this been happening a lot? What was the reason for this being off? And then if I have to go to make an adjustment to that, just to make sure that the estimates are as accurate as possible. Because if you start to see that that task is taking 35 minutes or just 30 minutes, we want to make sure we up that estimate on our process template so that it's as accurate as possible for the workload view. So that's kind of where we start. Again, we're just looking at the highest level and then going down into the users to see where that time is different. If you want to adjust those, you can go into the settings and you'll see here we're able to kind of change the time range, but the grouping, I can do it by user, task, list, folder, space. You only have 2 levels here, and that's why we do a few different widgets here to make sure I can see all that information in one place. Diving down now into the portfolio, this allows me to see a little bit more in terms of all of my lists that I have deployed in all of those client folders. So if I come here, I can see all my retainer lists that I have going on. I can kind of see the overall task statuses, all the tasks that are in there, how many are complete, how many are open. I'm able to kind of see the progress, how much is done, how much is overdue, our time estimates, and actual time track. And this is just going to help me find trends again, like, are we submitting too many tasks? Do we have too many out there? And our team's a little overloaded? So I can start to see that in the portfolio. And then as I drill down, I'm also able to see sort of overall time estimates across the month. So if I'm looking at this, I can kind of see, okay, we only have 10 employees and maybe we have over 830 hours of tasks that are planned. Is that too much? Is that too little? So we can start to look at capacity there and see where all this is going. So I can look at it by client to kind of see which client is taking up the bulk of our time, just to make sure if we need to make any adjustments, we can. So now I'm able to drill into more further details to kind of see where all of our time is going. And again, to make sure that our estimates are as accurate as possible, make sure we're not overwhelming the team, and making sure that we're meeting that capacity that we need to meet. And then lastly, I'm just able to see sort of overtime work with due dates within this year. This is really just showing me over time how many tasks in time estimates, how much are we actually planning for that month. So as you can see, maybe we implemented ClickUp and first launched in April. So we went from 0 minutes all the way to over 1,300 hours. And then over time, we've been increasing that. So this is just my way of seeing, are we increasing that capacity? Is it going down? I'm able to see those trends right there. So again, all of this is really focused on looking at trends, looking at time estimates versus actuals to make sure that I make all of those time estimates as accurate as possible to help our team out with workload view so that our project managers and our team can really see real capacity to plan out tasks and forecast work. And the third dashboard you're going to want to create is the ClickUp Champion dashboard. So your ClickUp Champion is really going to be responsible for holding your team accountable, managing the system, and making sure that everyone builds healthy habits within ClickUp. So this dashboard is going to be the spot where they can get their work done and actually manage the system overall. So they're going to want to make sure that they look at this daily, weekly, monthly, and be able to capture trends over time so that we know, okay, who do we maybe need to talk to? Who do we need to coach? Or who's doing a great job inside of ClickUp that we should celebrate. So this dashboard is really for them to audit and manage and hold the whole team accountable to what they're doing. So if we come here, this is just a little intro that we have on this. Also a chat widget that you can add in here as well that allows anyone, if they have a question, they can come to this dashboard and kind of centralize that communication with the ClickUp Champion. I can go right here and just leave a question. The ClickUp Champion will see that and they can answer me. In addition, the big important piece of this, again, is going to be our task issues. So as I move down here, you're going to see we have task issues. This is actually sorted by account manager. So that's a custom field that we have applied here where I can kind of see by account manager, where are their task issues. Again, the account manager is not necessarily the person that these tasks are assigned to. It's just the person who is managing that specific account where that task lives. So if I come here, the 3 most important pieces are going to be assignees, due dates, and time estimates. You need to have those on every single task. So your ClickUp champion is going to be the one that helps make sure that happens, because all of these ingredients, assignees, due dates, and time estimates are going to be what makes sure nothing slips through the cracks. If we have an assignee and a due date, at least that's going to help us make sure that it's on someone's work view. In addition, that time estimate and the due date and the assignee are all going to be what contributes to the workload view that you have in ClickUp. So if you're looking at the workload view in ClickUp and you're like, I'm not actually seeing full capacity, this isn't really working. Oftentimes it's because you don't have accurate due dates, you don't have time estimates on those tasks, and there's either no assignee or more than one assignee. So those are things to keep track of, and that's what the ClickUp champion is going to help with right here. So here, this allows them to overall see how many tasks in our workspace don't have an assignee. So clearly there's a ton, this is a big issue, and they can go through one by one to see all of those tasks. In addition, they're also going to be able to see who these tasks were created by. So if these tasks were created by the same person, clearly this person is putting data into the system that needs some work. We need to get assignees on those tasks. So I can leave comments, I can notify them and talk to them, say, hey, what's going on here? Why do you have a bunch of tasks that don't have assignee on them? So in this case, XenPilot created a bunch of these and there's no assignee. That's a big issue. We need to talk to them to get some assignees on these tasks. Down here, in addition, we have the due dates. So where there's no due dates on these tasks. So as you can see here, I can also see who created these tasks that don't have due dates. We need to make sure we leave a comment, make sure we talk to that person to make sure a due date gets onto that task. Same thing with time estimate here. Make sure, again, who it was created by, leave a comment, and make sure we get a time estimate on that task. Lastly, in this for issues is overdue tasks. We want to make sure tasks don't fall overdue. We want to make sure they get completed, but we also want to make sure that due dates get remapped, because if a task falls overdue, but someone still needs to do it, that's not going to be accurately reflected on workload. So we need to make sure that these tasks get remapped, make sure due dates match reality. So the ClickUp champion is going to help make sure that all of that happens. In addition, we can look at the time entry. We can see who in our workspace is actually tracking time. So if someone is not, maybe we need to ping them and say, hey, where have you spent your time this week? This gives them a good spot for the ClickUp champion to come and look at those time entries to make sure everyone is tracking time so we can get good visibility into where that time is going. Also habits. So we need to make sure that the tasks that are closed actually have the appropriate fields and data on them. So if a task is closed and we don't have the right custom fields on it, this is where they can get those added. If there's no time estimate, we still need to make sure that's incorporated so we can kind of look back and see how much time was estimated versus project versus tracked. We still need to make sure even if a task is closed, it still has that time estimate on it, time tracked and due date as well. We need to make sure all the tasks open or closed have that information. So this is a great way for them to just see the closed tasks and make sure that gets incorporated into them. In addition, we also have the user activity. So a big part of ClickUp is notifications. If someone has 500 uncleared notifications, those are going to become meaningless, and now they're not going to be communicating inside of ClickUp. So we need to make sure that we monitor that user activity. If someone here has a ton of overdue tasks and uncleared notifications, we need to ping them and say, hey, that's not okay. You need to adjust this, clear them, look through them to make sure that you didn't miss anything. So that's a way that we can spot those issues. In addition, it's also fun to celebrate good behavior inside of ClickUp. So this workspace points widget is a spot for the ClickUp champion to come and monitor everything that's happening. So maybe someone leaves a bunch of comments, resolves comments, they complete tasks, they worked all out tasks. They'll get a total points every week. And this is a great way for the ClickUp champion to say, hey, Alex, you did a fantastic job in ClickUp this week. Great work, keep it up. As well as maybe Gray didn't do as well. We're going to monitor that. Monitor those that aren't doing great and celebrate those that are having a lot of success in the tool, just to help build good camaraderie and increase those healthy habits in the system. The fourth dashboard that you're going to want to create inside of ClickUp is the personal dashboard. And this one is more for all of your users in ClickUp. If they want to have a good view of all of their work, their timesheets and things like this, this is a one-spot shop for them to go to see all that information. So you can create a task view in ClickUp to see your tasks, but it's super helpful to also have a dashboard for people that they can come through, see their timesheets, see what's completed, overdue, and coming up in the future. The fourth dashboard you're going to want to create inside of ClickUp is the personal dashboard. Essentially what this is, it's a spot for everyone in your ClickUp workspace to have a dashboard for them to visualize all of their tasks that are happening. So oftentimes you can have a My Task view, which we always recommend for them to see the work that they actually have upcoming and some stuff that's overdue. But this is a great visual for them to see their timesheet. Did they miss tracking time? Did they complete a bunch of tasks last week? Do they have a lot of tasks coming up? Just a great way for them to visualize all of their tasks in the system so they have one spot to see all that information. As you'll see here, I have some timesheets. So where did I spend time last week? Again, I can open that up and see the actual tasks. My timesheet from this week. So what am I seeing that I track time this week? Wednesday, I clearly missed a lot of hours. So maybe I need to go back and check on that, make sure I didn't miss any track time. The ClickUp Champions also going to help me with that. But down here, I'll be looking at completed last week, completed this week, some stuff that was overdue, closed tasks. It's just a nice overview of all of my tasks here. Going down, I'm also able to see the actual tasks from the close last week to close this week and due in the next 7 days. That way, again, I have a nice view of week by week, all of my tasks, what needs to be done, what I'm doing, and information like that. The fifth dashboard they're going to create is the internal client overview. So this one is meant for your account managers or anyone on the team that's working for the client to have one spot to go to see all this information. You can create views and things like that as well in your actual workspace, but this can also be helpful to get a nice visual of everything that's happening. This is not meant to be client facing. We can create one of those, which I'll show you in a second, but this is a great way for the team internally to see all that's happening. So if I come here, you'll see I have my client notes. I can get all the shared drive, the weekly meeting time, contacts, tech stack, client goals, all in one spot. So the whole team has context into this client. I can also see progress here across my lists. So have we made good progress? How many tasks have actually been completed? How many are overdue? And I can also add additional information if I wanted to in terms of time estimates, time remaining, time track, things like that. I can put all that here in this portfolio. We also have just an overview of this month, how many have been closed and are still open, and the active statuses here. And then looking at overdue tasks. So do we have a bunch that are overdue? Why might that be? I can drill into each of these individual tasks. I can look at them by assignee and make sure that these get taken care of if they need to get taken care of. In addition, upcoming deliverables. So if we have a bunch of tasks already deployed into that folder, I'm able to see across what's upcoming, when's it due, is all this work assigned out, and things like that. I can see, again, overdue tasks and what's upcoming. So those are more the nitty gritty details, but I can also see at a high level, just the number of overdue tasks. So if this number starts to climb, we need to take care of that. We can look at our time estimates versus time tracked, again, based off of the tasks that are in that folder, open tasks and closed tasks that are due this month. I can see that information here. Down here, we also have a few additional things like who has contributed this month. So this gives me a nice view of who is actually working on all the tasks in this client. So as more people work on this, we'll see that information. Open task by assignee. So if someone has a ton of different tasks, maybe we need to reassign those to someone else if it's a bit too much and it's over their capacity. And then also looking at time reporting specifically to this client. I do have my time reporting and estimated versus actual dashboards in ClickUp, but it's also helpful to have that in each of these internal client overviews so that account manager can see that. Lastly, we also have an activity widget in ClickUp that allows me to see all the recent comments. So within a specific location, like the client folder, I'm able to narrow down all the comments that happen and put them in one spot. So I can come here and see across all of my deliverables, across all of the tasks, all the communication will filter into this view right here. And I can see that in one spot. So it makes it super easy for you to catch any communication that happens. Maybe you missed it. You'll be able to funnel all of that into one spot right here. So again, all of these can be duplicated. If I want to duplicate a dashboard, I can come here, duplicate, and then I'm just going to adjust all these widgets. As you'll see here, this is pared down to Dunder Mifflin, but if I wanted to change that, I would just come through and adjust all these widgets and create one for each of my clients that I want to create a dashboard for. And the last dashboard you'll want to create inside of ClickUp is your client-facing dashboard. So we call this Mission Control. This is a dashboard that you can share with your clients so that they can see what's going on. They can see results. They can see open tasks, what's coming, things like that. The one thing to note about dashboards in setting them to clients is that you can't create them necessarily public-facing with a public link. You need to invite them as a guest into ClickUp. So what I can do here is I can come to share. Once I create my dashboard, I can invite them by name or email, and then just make sure that they're a guest, and then I can share this link with them. They'll have to get logged in to ClickUp and see this. Again, as a guest, I can't create a public-facing document like I can with a doc in ClickUp, but I can invite them as a guest to actually see this information. So in this mission control, what we have included is more just task lists. So in this, I'm going to see recently completed deliverables. So the client can come to see what have we actually done for them, what is complete. So this is going to be filtered down by tasks that are closed, again, in that location. So if this is built for Dunder Mifflin, I can see it's just pared down to that folder. That's why it's super powerful to have that hierarchy so that I can just narrow it down to that one client. In addition, I can look at in progress deliverables. So what do we have that's coming up or that we're working on right now? That's going to be filtered by these statuses where they're actually active. And then also up next deliverables that I can see here. So this is just going to be status that is not quite started yet. So I'm going to have my not started status down here for what's up next. In progress is actually active, and then recently completed is closed. So they can see all of the work that's going to be happening. Again, this is going to be focused a lot on having sort of the parent task being your deliverable, the subtasks being the action items. That way I only show the parent task, so I don't need to show them all the nitty gritty or our full process into this. So just make sure parent task is deliverable, subtasks are your action steps. A great part about ClickUp dashboards as well is that if I want to add a card here, I can also embed outside things into ClickUp dashboards. So let's say I wanted some data box dashboards and reports. I could bring that in here. That way they know what's happened or what we've completed for them and what's actually come from that deliverable. So if you have a campaign running, say you launched it on July 1st, then all of a sudden in this report, we saw a big spike from July 1st in website traffic and conversions. I'll be able to see all that in here. So it's super powerful for clients to see what's happened, what's happening, what's upcoming, and the results from all of the things that you've done for them. So that way you have all the value in one spot. Makes it super easy for them to see everything in one place and see what you're giving them, see how you're helping them reach their goals that they've hired you to help reach. Down here, I also have just a few additional things like some learnings and notes that we've taken. So if you want to put that in here for them to see, okay, what have we talked about in each of these meetings? If they need to see that here, we can share that with them and we'll see all the dates and things like that. It's all in one spot for them to see. So if you want to share your notes and your learning so they can have that all documented, we can put that right here as well. And that's the big part of the mission control is really, again, just getting the tasks and things you've done for them in one spot. You can then also embed a data box or some other reporting tool in here for them to see what's actually happened from your actions that you've taken. And then in addition, if you want to open up some communication, you can always embed a form, a ClickUp form or something else in here too, that they can easily just go fill that out and send a request to you. Otherwise, you can put buttons in these notes as well. So if I want to do a button just like that, and then I want to link that out to your call link or something like that as well, you can do that. Super powerful for clients to be able to go to one spot, book a call with you, see everything that you've done, as well as the results from your actions. And there you have it. There's the 6 dashboards that every agency needs to build in ClickUp. And if you have any questions or you'd like help building these dashboards out for your agency, head to zenpilot.com/call. We'd love to see how we can help. And if you like this video, please hit subscribe. We're going to continue to deliver content specifically for agencies inside of ClickUp so you can build a more productive, profitable, and healthy agency. And this is Jeff from ZenPilot signing off. We'll see you again next time.